All right, cool.
Hey, Tommy,
Let's
good to see
see.
you.
Awesome. Yeah, you too, man. Let's see if that. Yep, that works good. Cool.
Sounds
All
good.
right. So, hey,
So,
man, before I forget to ask, if you could send me the link or whatever when we're done with this, just so we have it to post on social media, that'd be awesome.
that I will definitely do that, Tommy. I will do that.
Okay, cool.
That sounds good. And so, how's your day, Tommy? So, how's it going so far?
Good. I just went to a doctor's visit and got some blood drawn, and I'm good. How about you?
All good here. All good here. Still, we are in the lockdown still in India. So, what's still going on? Things are
Wow.
getting.
See, we're in Orlando, Florida, and we can do whatever we want here. It's crazy. It's a lot different.
Yeah, sounds good. So, Tommy, you released your debut, It's Their World, a six-track album on June 4th. So, can you tell me a bit about the songwriting and production behind the album?
Okay. Well, as you probably saw, it has Ripper Owens is singing.
Yeah.
A guy named Bobby Koeble. He played with Death on their Symbolic album in that tour.
Mhm.
A guy named Matt Nardo, which is a Philadelphia guy who I've played in bands with before and produces a lot of stuff. And then myself. About the writing, it just started with me in the studio in this closet right here, messing with trying to get some old school thrash guitar tones like Testament, Death Angel, Flotsam and Jetsam. So it didn't start in mind with, hey, I'm going to make a metal album with the guy from Judas Priest. That's not how it started. Yeah, and the writing. So I centered it all around guitar tones because I was bored. It was during COVID, and I'm like, let me dick around in the studio. So I did all that. I got some neat tones. I got a drummer to play on it, and I wrote the song, the main track, Leviathan, which is the first song on the EP, and it was coming out really good. So I'm like, I need to get some other guys to play on this just for fun, totally just for fun. And then it snowballed into a record company, a publicist helping out, 2 songs and 3 songs and 4 songs, a couple EPs and a CD coming out, and here we are, So it wasn't planned at all.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And did you keep any kind of concept behind this album in any ways?
Well, the concept of Leviathan or Leviathan Project is basically just studying different things or talking about different things or maybe even abstract concepts that go on in our life. Okay, so there's a song that we have, I think it's coming out on the new EP, which is coming out next month. It's called Falling Apart. And it's loosely based on like Alzheimer's, like someone who's slowly losing their mind, literally. It's crazy disease. So it's kind of based around that. And then, the song Solar Storm might have more of a relationship vibe, but instead of singing it like a band like Ratwood, we sing, we put it in the universe, Solar Storm and the stars. So, we're taking concepts that have been done before, and we're kind of putting them under this umbrella of Leviathan Project. Leviathan meaning that monster or that entity that's in your life, okay? A thing that we all struggle with, whether it's COVID, whether it's relationship, whether it's your job. That's what the Leviathan is to us,
Yeah, got it. And I was going through your materials over the website and things like that, and I saw this quote stating, your music gives a close resemblance to the human research. So what is that? So I would like to know a bit about that.
The human what?
Human research. So that is very closely associated with those kind of research kind of things on your music. So what was that actually?
That's just talking, about, I think it says something in the bio about the human condition. Is that what you're referring to? Yeah. It's the, lyrically just dealing with all the things that we deal with in life, and we form it in a metal construct. I mean, the music is metal. But there can be some abstractness to it. If you've listened to the whole EP yet, which a lot of people haven't had a chance to do, there's instrumental tracks in there too. So that's where the abstract piece comes from, where you listen to a piece of music with no words and you develop in your mind some image. And your image, Keith, is going to be different than what I see in my head. Okay. You know, I don't like lyrics or music that tell someone exactly what to think or what, you know, everyone develops their own image based on the music. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. And talking about your release, what surprised me the most is your release of 100 copies through a cassette. So that was like, wow, you guys take me to my childhood days where like these days nobody gets a cassette in the local market or anywhere. So why did you choose something to do like that?
Well, because the record company, Deco Entertainment, had a really cool idea of taking all the songs, splitting it up into 2 EPs, and then releasing a full CD with bonus tracks and all the stuff. So when I was thinking about 1 EP digital, right?
Yeah.
That's boring to me. Everybody can release an EP from their bedroom. It's out there, big deal, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's just the way it is. And I wanted to see within our budget constraints, if there is something else we can do to make this interesting. It's like, yeah, we got, you know, Ripper singing, we got a guy from Death, you know, I did the little Britny Fox thing, but you know, whatever. So I approached the record company. I'm like, hey, can we do cassettes? You know, why not? And they're like, well, you know, people probably don't even have cassette players, but they're like, you know, who cares? It's a collector's item. Us as metal people, we like collecting stuff. We like the physical package, right? So we decided for the first EP, let's put a cassette out there. It generates conversation. I mean, you know, you're a little more interested in this than if we just did an EP. You're like, why cassette? It's crazy. Yeah. And there might be some people saying that cassettes are coming back. We have this store in the United States called Walmart. It's a big retail store, sells all kinds of stuff. I was just there this weekend and they're selling cassette players again and blank cassette tapes. Good. So maybe we tapped into a market that's sort of coming back. Who knows?
Yeah, anything can happen. We don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But it's something cool. It's only it's only 100 copies. So I think pretty much when they're sold, they're done. We're not. I don't think the intent is to keep on releasing batches of cassettes. Yeah.
I know. So tell me, Tommy. So how is it like working with Tim the Ripper Owens? He's an amazing vocalist. Everybody knows, like he was his time with Judas Priest was so amazing, and he got great higher tones of vocals. So how is it like working with that guy?
It was great. He's just a real professional. We sent him on some of the initial tracks. Matt, who's my bass player and co-writer, he's got a great high range voice. He sounds more like Don Dokken or Lou Gramm, right? Yeah. So we would demo these songs for Ripper. Matt would sing all the vocals. We'd send them to Tim to say, hey, this is kind of what we're thinking. So Tim would, and we'd send him a lyric sheet. So Tim would go in his studio in Ohio. He'd send me back 14 individual tracks of vocals, and they all sound fantastic. So, it was very easy to do. Tim's been doing this, you know, probably his whole adult life. So there wasn't any nonsense, you know. I didn't get tracks that sucked. I didn't get tracks that I had to fix. He sent them to me. They're done. I could use every track if I wanted, but he would do like a real high vocal. He'd do a medium vocal. He'd do a harmony. He gave me anything I needed to produce it and do the song. So yeah, I mean, it's a true professional. That's the only way I can put it. I mean, the guy is so good. You know, if he wasn't that good and that professional, he wouldn't have played with Thingvay. He wouldn't play with iSurf. KK Downey wouldn't bother to call him, you know? So it was really made my job as the producer and kind of the creator of this whole thing, made my job easy, totally easy.
Sounds amazing. And Tommy, like there were a lot of super groups that has come over and they have gone. So what is your plan towards this project? So it's going to be a long-term project, or how it's going to be?
You know, someone asked me this, and as long as I'm alive and still interested in metal, Leviathan project will always be something that's there. You know, people brought up shows and touring. Will that ever happen? Touring, probably not. Shows, who knows, maybe. The long-term goal is just to keep on writing cool heavy metal and ambient, you know, music. And, you know, as long as the other guys are interested in doing it, you know, it's always something that's there to do. You know, Ripper's probably going to be going out on tour with KK's Priest, so I imagine he's going to be tied up for a while. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I wrote one song based on trying to copy the sound of, like, you know, Metallica's And Justice for All album. So I don't, you know, I don't really have a concrete plan. The short term is one EP, which is out on cassette and digital. The second EP will come out next month in July. And then I believe in August, the CD will come out. So that's the short-term plan. And then we'll see what happens. You know, if people aren't interested in it, I'll still do it for myself, you know, but I'm hoping that you guys like it.
Yeah, the music was so amazing. I was listening to the whole thing because I got it from Chipster's group. So they gave me the whole album. So it was really amazing. And it was like going back to these old school days with a lot of great, powerful riffs and amazing music, I would say. I really enjoyed everything from the new EP. That's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Thank you so much. And I also I was going through your website and I was seeing like you guys have used a lot of vintage instruments, like that once was used back in the 1970, those times. So how did that work out for you guys?
As far as the instruments, you say?
Yes, musical instruments. Yes, you have used some of the older stuffs into the album. That's for as I read. So I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong.
You know, on instruments, it was actually, God, it was probably the opposite. It was, you know, because on a couple of the tracks, I had played the guitar and bass because I was just demoing stuff. And then as we got down the line, Matt started adding his bass parts. But the instruments that I used were what I had in my studio. So this here, which I was showing to some guys last night, it's an old Kramer. I don't know if it's vintage. It's not a very expensive instrument. You know, it's probably made in the 80s or something, but it sounded good. I don't have a lot of guitars because I can only play one at a time. You know, and pretty much all the music was made. You can't see the size of this room, but it's a closet. It was made in here. So I'm not micing expensive amps. I'm not buying $4,000, $5,000 Les Pauls. I'm just using what I got. And, you know, I think I know how to make it sound pretty good. So, you know, there's not a whole lot to the instruments.
Gotcha. Thank you. And do you guys do other projects as well? So I know you were with the other bands in the past, but do you have other projects as well apart from what you're doing currently?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy all types of music. I really do. So I have kind of more of a punkish band that I experiment with doing some stuff because, you know, I'll spend 3 months doing Leviathan. I'll do a ton of mixes for each song and you get burned out on it. And I'm like, I need to go play some stupid punk rock music for a month to cleanse my ears. Right. And then, you know, Matt and I, the bass player, we have this AOR project we're working on that's more like Journey or Survivor or Styx or something like that. You know, but the Leviathan project, it's the main thing. Yeah.
Gotcha. And Tommy, can you tell me how it all started, how you all got together in the beginning and how did you guys plan to make this come true? Yeah.
Like I said, I started it myself. I needed a singer to do the one track. A friend of mine, Chris Aiken, suggested Ripper because he was friends with him. He's known him forever. And I had a couple other people in mind, but I hadn't even really got around to reaching out to him yet because it was so new. And so Ripper was really the second person that I talked to. And he was sitting at home basically because of COVID, you know, working, trying to do stuff in his studio. So he did one track and it came out so good. His vocals, I was so surprised at his vocals. Because I'm familiar with him, but I don't know details of his career. So I didn't know how talented he really was. So anyway, so we had Tim in there. And then Bobby, you know, who played with Death, he lives in Orlando. So we had a mutual friend who suggested him to me. I was looking for a very technical guitar player that played in the vein of like old Vinnie Moore, Tony McAlpine, those real shredders from like the early and mid 80s. I wanted a guitar player like that. So Bobby was easy, you know, very easy to work with. He was on board. He does a lot of jazz stuff now because he's a real schooled musician, but he still likes metal. So, you know, I'd send him the tracks and he would, you know, send them back to me in a week. Perfect. You know, like I didn't have to ask Tim, Ripper Owens, or Bobby ever to say, hey, can you go back and fix this? And that's a breath of fresh air, because at the level that I've played at, I play with a lot of people that we kind of do this as a hobby, but we're really trying to get further out there. And we're good, but we're not Ripper Owens good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, wow, I'm used to playing at this level. And then all of a sudden I'm getting stuff at this level. It's really nice. It's really cool. And then, like I said, Matt Nardo, I played with him in Philadelphia bands, and I always knew Matt was a great singer. He produces stuff. He can play bass. He can play guitar. He can play slide. He can kind of do it all. So he comes in and kind of adds like the icing on top of everything. You know, it's really good. And I've done a lot of projects. This one's by far, it's easy. You know, I mean, it's just easy. That's all there is to it. I don't struggle with it. If it was hard, I probably would have given up after the first song. I probably said, hey, screw this, is not worth it. Yeah.
And Tommy, would you like to share some of the greatest moments that you had over the years?
Not really, but I will. I'm trying. People ask me about this in other interviews. I spent a short period of time playing with Britny Fox on tour, and I was a big fan of Britny Fox, their Bite Down Hard record specifically, before I played with them. Yeah. And if you're familiar with that, it had a guy named Tommy Paris on there, a singer, just really like phenomenal. And this sounds so stupid. It sounds something like a little girl would say. Just getting adjusted here. But so on tour, when we stayed in hotels, I had to room with Tommy Paris, right? He was my roommate. So I'm like, how cool is that, right? I mean, I got over it pretty quick, you know, because he's just a regular dude. But it was neat getting to go out and work alongside of him and Billy Childs, the founding, you know, one of the founding members of Britny Fox. So that was great. Getting to see the United States. On this, I mean, getting to have, Ripper do something on it, because he does bring a big mystique. I mean, he played with Judas Priest, you know, I mean, we all know that, but when you sit there and you think about it, it's like, damn, you know, this is pretty cool, you know, and he, liked the stuff enough to contribute writing one song with us on there, and still does it. So, there's a lot of great moments in, music, and I don't really have any regrets. It brought me to basically where I am with Leviathan Project. You know, this is probably the best thing I've been a part of.
Sounds amazing. And I know we spoke about this part earlier. So regarding like you have no plans of going on a touring or something like that as of now, but
right.
a lineup like this is people gonna love it. So in the future, will there be a possibility of you touring around the world?
I would say there's a better possibility of doing shows or festivals. Probably much better possibility that if there's a demand for it and there's, money involved, because, it costs a lot of money to do this stuff. And Bobby, our lead guitar player, he's got a really solid gig in business and teaching in Orlando. Ripper does this for a living, so he's not going to go out and play for free. I get it. Matt and I have day jobs, so my summer's always open to go out and do stuff. I would love to do it. It would be cool. Maybe if Ripper and his solo band plays one of the songs, that would be cool to hear it out there. Maybe if, Matt plays with another band and he does one of our songs. But I don't know, crazier things have happened. If people really dig it and there's a demand for it, I mean, I'd be up for it. The good thing about these guys is that they're good enough musicians where it's not like we'd have to rehearse for weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we could probably go out there with maybe one rehearsal or an online rehearsal and sound, okay. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Sounds good. And usually more of the music side, when we talk about the bands like this, they usually try different genres of metal into it. So what would be your plan in the future albums? Are you going to stick with the heavy metal kind of thing, or are you going to move on with try different genres inside the music? So how is it going to work for you guys?
I think consistency to heavy metal fans is really important. For instance, when I want to listen to Iron Maiden, I want to listen to Power Slave, right? Yeah. I don't really want to, there's a song on one of their albums and it kind of sounds like AC/DC. That's not what I'm looking for when I go to Maiden. So I think we'll keep the consistency there with the metal. Now, like I said, if you have a chance to listen to the whole EP, it's got instrumental tracks in there too.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of black metal. Mm-hmm. And I liken those instrumental tracks to sort of the ambient black metal stuff. There's new age music that has a couple really popular artists, Kataro, Andres Vollenweider. The new age stuff kind of fits in there, our instrumentals. So we'll always keep that ambient piece and we'll always keep the metal piece. Yeah, if I want to go out and write a song that sounds like Rat, then I'll go do that somewhere else. Yeah. I would never ask Tim to sing a song that sounded like Warrant or Rat. That would just be dumb in my opinion.
Good.
Yeah.
It sounds good. And finally, Tommy, do you have a message for the fans around the world?
Yeah. As busy as we are and as much as technology makes our attention span go everywhere, with this music, and really any music, but this music, because it's mine, if you can grab either a song or two, put your headphones in, give yourself 5 or 10 minutes, shut everything else, and just give it a chance. Just listen to it. Because if you're a fan of heavy metal, you put on the song Solar Storm, and after that 4 minutes and 50 seconds, you don't like it, then you're probably not a fan of metal. It's got everything in there. Just give it a chance. I really think I think people will love this, and I haven't said this about anything I've been a part of ever. So I'm pretty confident that there's got some good stuff to offer. I had a lot of good people working with me.
Absolutely, Tommy. And Tommy, thank you so much for your time today to talk to me here. And thanks so much for bringing amazing music to the world. We all need this at this moment of time. And thank you so much for that. And we'll see soon sometime in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
It's a pleasure talking to you, Tommy. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye.
You too. Bye.